Negotiation is not about fairness. It is not about compromise. It is war, waged with words, silence, and control. And today, I hand you the 7 iron laws of negotiation, weapons so sharp Machiavelli himself would have carved empires with them. By the end, you won't simply negotiate. You will dominate. You will crush hesitation. You will bend time, bend offers, bend men themselves. You will seize control of the table, the deal, and the destiny of those foolish enough to face you. So ask yourself, when you enter your next negotiation, will you crawl in as a beggar, praying for scraps? Or will you march in as a commander, dictating the terms of their surrender? Stay until the end. Because once you master these 7 laws, you will never sit at the table as the same man again. You will sit as a ruler, demanding obedience without lifting a blade. Prepare like a general. Win before you even step inside. Victory is never born at the table. That's just theater. The war is fought long before, planned in silence, sharpened in secrecy, rehearsed until chance itself is annihilated. The one who prepares owns the outcome before a single word is spoken. But you stumble in blind. You confuse arrogance for strength. You strut in armed with confidence instead of knowledge, wit instead of weapons. You actually believe improvisation is domination, pathetic. Confidence without preparation is not strength, it's vanity, and vanity is punished with humiliation. The unprepared man is not negotiating, he is begging for mercy. Machiavelli praised Philopoemen, the Greek general who trained as if war lurked in every shadow. On peaceful roads, he drilled his men to imagine ambushes, collapsing supplies, surprise attacks from hills. Why? Because peace is nothing but the pause between wars. His constant preparation meant there was nothing that could catch him off guard. This is the discipline of victors, never waiting, never reacting, preparing so deeply that no surprise survives. What would Machiavelli do? He would study his enemy like scripture. He would know their fears, their weaknesses, their secret desires better than they knew themselves. He would script every demand, every objection, every silence, until the negotiation became nothing more than the execution of his design. Your table is a battlefield. Research is your army. Numbers, alternatives, rehearsed counters, these are your weapons. Walk in prepared, and you march with legions at your back. Walk in unprepared, and you crawl naked before knives. Seize control this way. Know their needs more than they do. Anticipate their desperation, their pressure points, their concealed goals. Build an escape so strong that no deal can chain you. Script every response, every counter, every strike. Leave nothing to chance. This is not practice. Practice is for children. Preparation is for killers and kings. It strips away uncertainty, leaving nothing but inevitability. Preparation is preemptive victory. It is war waged in silence, long before the first word is spoken. By the time the opening offer echoes across the table, the outcome is already sealed. Those who prepare don't hope for advantage. They manufacture it. They don't enter negotiations. They enter executions. And those who forge victory before battle own the battlefield itself. Here is the first law: forge victory before battle.
Hey guys, we're Wisdom, based in Abu Dhabi. We use AI tools to make these concepts come to life, but it's our amazing team who goes deep, breaking down powerful philosophical ideas and showing how they really apply in everyday life. We hope you enjoyed today's content.
Multiply your options. Make them kneel before your freedom. Power in negotiation does not come from honeyed words or clever speeches. That is the theater of the weak. Real power is silent. It is the unspoken threat of walking away. The side with more options dictates. The side without them begs. And here is where you disgrace yourself. You cling to one deal like a rat clinging to driftwood. Pathetic. You reek of desperation. They smell it. They see it in your stiff posture, your frantic eyes, your trembling silence. You broadcast dependence like a coward pleading for scraps, and the other side obliges. They tighten the noose, strip your demands, carve away your dignity, and leave you clutching crumbs. Then call it generosity. Machiavelli saw this disease destroy rulers. Princes who tied themselves to one ally dug their own graves. He wrote, "To help another ruler to grow powerful is to prepare your own ruin." France, in their folly, strengthened Spain and the Pope, and soon they were crushed between them. Dependency is not strategy, it is suicide. Whether in kingdoms or in deals, the fate is the same. Weakness is slaughtered. What would Machiavelli do? He would never chain himself to one course. He would cultivate rivals like weapons in an arsenal. He would let them compete for his favor, desperate for his choice. He would move like smoke, never fixed, never owned. And all would know one thing: his ability to walk away made him untouchable. Today's negotiations are no different. Leverage lives in numbers, not words. Multiple buyers, multiple offers, multiple exits. The man with options commands the room. The man without them is a prisoner. When they know you can leave at any moment, fear enslaves them. So here is how you seize power. Never crawl in with only one path. Build backups, court alternatives, make yourself indispensable to many, beholden to none. Signal, calmly, quietly, that you are free. Free to walk, free to leave. And when they attempt to bind you, when they dare to corner you, rise and walk away. Walking away is not weakness. Walking away is strategy sharpened to a blade. Options are empire. Dependency is death. He who multiplies his options conquers the field. He who clings to one path signs his own death warrant. Here is the second law: chain them with alternatives. Weaponize stillness. Let them drown in their own words. Most men fear silence more than death itself. Stillness shreds their nerves. It strips them bare. In silence, their insecurities crawl to the surface. They imagine threats that do not exist, and to escape the pressure, they babble, they confess, they bargain against themselves. They hand you their throat without you lifting a finger. But you cannot endure the void. You chatter like a fool, nervous, pathetic, desperate to appear agreeable. You flood the air with explanations and apologies. Every extra word you spill is a weapon handed to your enemy. Every attempt to sound polite is a dagger plunged into your own chest. You bleed out strength simply to silence the soundless. Weakness doesn't whisper, it screams. Machiavelli knew this truth. He taught that cruelty, if delivered, must be sudden and decisive. One strike, sharp, final, because prolonged cruelty breeds resentment. Sudden cruelty breeds fear, and fear keeps men obedient. Silence works the same way. A pause at the right moment is a blade. Too short and it cuts. Too long and it dulls. Wielded well, silence makes your enemy stagger under uncertainty. What would Machiavelli do? He would wield silence like a dagger hidden beneath his cloak. He would strike with it suddenly. He would withhold words when they were most expected. He would watch as rivals unraveled in their own paranoia, spilling secrets, weakening themselves, destroying their position, all while he sat motionless, unshaken, untouched. So it is in negotiation. Silence is not absence. Silence is pressure. Silence is dominance without motion. A pause after their offer forces them to question it, to sweeten it, to improve it. A question left unanswered drags confessions from their mouth. Silence becomes the mirror in which they see their desperation. Here is how you wield it. When an offer is made, do not speak. Wait. Let silence fester until their nerves fracture. When you ask a sharp question, resist the coward's urge to soften it. Say nothing. Let them drown in their own words. Defend nothing. Justify nothing. Silence shields you better than any excuse ever could. Silence is invisible steel. It cuts unseen. It commands unheard. It does not ask. It dictates. And here lies the truth. The man who conquers silence conquers himself. And the man who conquers himself through silence conquers the room, the table, the enemy, the world. Here is the third law. Rule through silence. Strike first. Lock the battlefield on your terms. The first strong number dictates the deal. This is not psychology. This is warfare. Humans are bound to anchors. Once a figure is spoken, the mind clings to it like chains. The one who sets the first anchor seizes the frame. Every concession, every counter, every desperate adjustment will orbit that number like planets circling a sun. But you commit the coward's mistake. You hesitate. You wait. And in waiting, you surrender. You let the enemy speak first, and their number becomes law. Their frame becomes the terrain. From that moment forward, you are fighting uphill, trapped in their fortress, clawing against their rules. You didn't lose in the fight. You lost in the hesitation. Machiavelli warned rulers never to yield initiative. He wrote, "If an injury is to be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance need not be feared." Anchoring is that principle turned into numbers. Strike first. Strike hard. Leave no ground to reclaim. One bold anchor disorients the enemy, weakens their resolve, and chains them to your will before the true battle even begins. What would Machiavelli do? He would never wait timidly. He would set the frame with a blow so sharp that the opposition staggered. His number would be a fortress planted in their minds, inescapable, immovable, unshakable. And when they tried to counter, they would find themselves tethered to it, struggling inside walls he had already built. Understand this. Anchoring is psychological war. The first credible number is not an offer. It is a prison. Every counter is tied to it, restrained by it, enslaved within it. So here is how you wield this weapon. Anchor first. Make your number bold, high, commanding respect. Justifiable enough to stand under scrutiny, yet forceful enough to shock. And if the other side dares to anchor first, never submit to their frame. Reject it, shatter it, reset the battlefield with your own, and once you anchor, defend it like steel. Hesitation is weakness. Weakness erodes, but confidence reinforces. He who sets the anchor sets the limits of the game. He who seizes initiative seizes the field. Remember this. Anchoring is not negotiation. Anchoring is domination. Here is the fourth law. Seize the field with anchors. Give small, extract large. Humans are wired for debt. When they receive, they feel the invisible chain of obligation. They feel the weight of owing. And this instinct, buried deep in the psyche, is your weapon. Strategic concessions exploit this flaw. They force the other side to pay back more than they were given. Reciprocity is not kindness. It is control wearing the mask of generosity. But you disgrace this law. You gush weakness, handing over too much, too soon. You shower concessions before war even begins, and in doing so, you expose yourself as prey. They take everything and give nothing back. Because weakness never inspires gratitude. It only ignites greed. Or worse, you swing to the opposite extreme. You refuse to give anything. You become stiff, rigid, brittle, and brittle things break. The deal collapses not because you are strong, but because you were a block of stone incapable of strategy. In both cases, you sabotage yourself. Pathetic. Machiavelli understood the balance. He warned rulers to appear generous, but never waste true resources on empty gestures. A ruler should not mind being called mean if it keeps him strong. The meaning is clear. True generosity weakens, but the illusion of generosity strengthens. A concession is not a gift. It is a chain. It is a trap. What would Machiavelli do? He would never squander power with meaningless kindness. He would give small, controlled tokens, calculated symbols designed to create the illusion of goodwill. He would time them with precision so that they appeared deliberate, never desperate. And he would always demand more in return. To him, concessions were never gifts. They were debts to be collected. So here is how you wield this law. Offer something minor, visible, but insignificant. Trigger the reflex. Make them feel indebted, then collect your due. Demand something greater in return. Never let a concession stand alone. Never give without taking more back. Every gift must chain the receiver to you. Concessions are not kindness, they are currency. They are shackles. You spend them not to buy goodwill, but to buy obedience, loyalty, control. The man who masters concessions enslaves others through their own sense of honor. And the one who enslaves honor commands men, deals, and nations. Here is the fifth law. Trap with concessions. Bend time. Bend their will. Victory is not only in numbers, it is in time. Deadlines, urgency, patience. These are weapons sharper than steel. He who controls time owns the negotiation. He who bends the clock bends the opponent. But you rush like a fool. You tremble before deadlines that were never real, phantoms designed to trap you. You confuse haste with strength. You mistake panic for decisiveness. Pathetic. And in your desperation to silence the ticking clock, you bleed away concessions, surrendering far too much, far too soon. You are not decisive. You are weak, and weakness is devoured. Machiavelli warned of this in his study of fortune. He likened fortune to a raging river. Unchecked, it floods and destroys. Controlled, it powers empires. Timing is the dam. The master channels the flood to his advantage. The weak are drowned beneath its current. What would Machiavelli do? He would never reveal urgency. He would mask his deadlines, projecting endless patience while others rotted in anxiety. He would drag negotiations into the mud, starving his enemies of composure until they shattered under the weight of their own impatience. And when he sensed time pressing against them, he would strike with speed, sudden, sharp, merciless. His patience was not for virtue. It was strategy. His timing was a blade, honed by silence, sharpened by delay, perfected by the killing blow at the chosen second. In negotiation today, deadlines are traps dressed as urgency. The fool obeys them. The master resists them. The patient side forces concessions without speaking a word. Patience is not passive. It is dominance stretched thin across time. It is the slow tightening of a rope until the enemy can no longer breathe. Here is how you wield it. Conceal your urgency. Reveal nothing. If time favors you, prolong. Bleed them with delay. If time favors them, compress. Force them into rashness. Use silence, pauses, and calculated hesitation as knives. Let time itself cut your enemy open. Time does not break the strong. Time starves the weak. The man who commands the clock commands surrender. Here is the sixth law. Command the clock. Rise without fear. Make them crawl to keep you. The ultimate power in negotiation belongs to the one who can leave. The one who stands, turns, and walks without hesitation. This is the highest form of leverage. The man who clings is already conquered. The man who depends is already enslaved. But you are pathetic. You cling to the deal as if it were air itself, gasping, desperate, terrified that without it you will suffocate. That need betrays you. It bleeds from your voice, your eyes, your trembling silence. And the other side feasts on it. They smell your fear. They strip away your dignity. They grind down your demands. They leave you broken because you could not bear to rise and leave. Machiavelli despised this weakness. He warned that princes who relied on mercenaries were doomed. Why? Because their survival rested in the hands of men who were not their own. Dependency is slavery. Freedom is strength. On the battlefield or at the table, the lesson is the same. He who cannot stand alone is already defeated. What would Machiavelli do? He would never bind himself to another man's favor. He would build his own army, his own treasury, his own lifelines. He would ensure no alliance, no treaty. No negotiation could ever chain him. And if terms turned against him, he would not beg. He would walk, calm, certain, knowing independence made him untouchable. Today's battlefield is no different. Your BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement, is your army. If it is strong, you walk freely, knowing no deal defines your survival. If it is weak, you sit chained to the table, begging for scraps, humiliated before the enemy. Here is how you wield this law. Build a BATNA so powerful that no negotiation becomes life or death. Make your alternatives unshakable. Signal, quietly but clearly, that you are willing to leave. Let them feel the cold shadow of your freedom. And when the terms rot, when demands become poison, rise, turn, leave. Walking away is not weakness. Walking away is sovereignty. The man who can walk away without fear controls the game. The man who cannot is already a slave. He who can walk away does not just win the deal. He owns the battlefield. Here is the seventh law. Conquer by walking away.
Thanks for spending time in this. If this sparked a new way of thinking, hit like and subscribe to keep the ideas flowing. And don't forget, check the description for the links to the resources and the original books we used today. We'll see you in the next one.